How about now, guys? Sorry about that. I don't know. That's a YouTube thing. YouTube's trying to give me a fit today. So hopefully it'll straighten out here in a minute. I did say hi to everybody. Hi to Nora. There's a couple people. Somebody was new, first time here. I said hi to Marissa, Rashonda, all of you guys. I did not leave you out. And I was saying, I'll come back to this screen here in a minute. I was saying that we have two new moderators, Arinda and Gerald. They will start moderating in the YouTube chat once they feel comfortable, but right now they're in the Facebook groups to help you guys. And sorry about that sound. I'm still getting a red light here and there, but hopefully it will stay on. If it doesn't, you guys throw some caps up there and let me know. Yeah, technical difficulties. That's why we're not live on Facebook this week, is because I couldn't get the chat things to work, and I had rather it be working than have to fight it. So I'm looking for some other things. Make sure if you're not subscribed, you hit that subscriber button, get your name in lights, like you saw that pink heart jump up there a while ago. And I was saying that I have become a close to my heart independent consultant, and I am going to be incorporating and showing you how to use your Cricut with the close to my heart products. If you notice, you can see down here they have Cricut collections, cartridges, things like that. New cartridges coming soon. Don't know exact date yet, but it is coming. And in September, guys, if you book a party, you can earn a Cricut maker. Yeah, they are adding some new Hostess products. You can earn an Easy Press or a Cricut maker, whatever. There are going to be several Cricut things that you can earn by having a party. So if you want to have a party, you just let me know, and we'll book you something. You don't have to have it in your house. You can do it online, invite your friends, they can shop, and you don't have to really do anything except email your friends and say, hey, I'm having a party, see what you can do, and let's get together and craft. But this Friday, August the 30th at 6 p.m., I'm going to try to do a weekly Friday night close to my heart night. And what is exactly close to my heart? They sell products. They sell paper and Cricut cartridges, Susan, and stamp pads and all sorts of goodies in here. You can go through here and take a look and see at all the different things. This Friday we're going to be working with the Seaside Workshop kits. If you don't want to do the stamps and you had rather have your Cricut write on it, you can do that. That's not a big deal. You can pick your images and have them draw, or you can get the ones with the stamp, and I'll show you those here after we do our design space lessons. I will go over and show you what's in the kits so that you can see what we're going to be working with Friday, and you can make your decision based on that. But again, they do have the Cricut cartridges. Right now there's another one coming. These are the cartridge collections right here, and stamps. You get stamps with those. So yes, they have an awesome quality of stamps. They really do. Love, love, love. So we're going to be working and showing the Cricut aspect. And Arinda, our new moderator, she has done a lot of scrapbooking in the past, so hopefully she can come up with some scrapbook layouts for you guys too that want the scrapbook layouts and haven't been able to get your hands on them. So we're going to be doing lots of new things in the Cricut Maker projects and Crafting with April groups and the Dimensional Card group as well. But I will be trying to go. You don't have to join. You can purchase it from you. Right, you can just go right in here and shop with me, close to my heart. I'll provide you guys a link down below. I will add that. But it's craftingwithapril.ctmh.com. And I'm going to show that to you here a little bit later in the video. So, some exciting things. We're still going to do our Mondays Learning Design Space. We're going to be working close to my heart on Fridays. Every other Saturday, the second and fourth Saturday of every month, we're still going to do those. I'm just going to be adding a Friday night for you guys. So, just wanted to throw that out there so you know. Anybody who wants to support can support on the Ko-fi page. And that's www.ko-fi/April right here. And you can support that way. That gives you access to all my files. If you're a monthly supporter, if you're not a monthly supporter, you can find, and you just want to do one-time support to get the file for tonight, you can support one time and get tonight's file. And then here is where you will find the files. The wraps, guys, here's my link. If you go right here, you can shop with me on Close to My Heart. I put the link right here. Right here are the wraps. Those are free for you guys for the 4 ounce. This is for the 4 ounce cup, and this is for the K cup. So that is free for everybody if you want to use those to decorate your cups for tonight's project. You can go to craftingwithapril.com and go to the public SVGs, and you will find that right down here below the care tags. So I think I've covered all of that. Next, we're going to go into Design Space, guys. Last week, I'm just going to cancel this. This is tonight's project. You guys won't be able to open this with the URL because I have uploaded images into it. If I can get it to cancel on us here. You don't have to, Susan, you don't have to. We're just going to be teaching some new skills for those who want to do it. We're going to be teaching some scrapbooking. We're going to be teaching some card making, some tips and tricks, things like that, so that you can get the most out of your Cricut by using different types of papers and things. Yes. Okay. Well, let's keep canceling here. There we go. All right, 2 weeks ago we went over our panel to the left here, and last week we went over the toolbars and the text toolbar. And you guys can review back to those two. Hi, Bonnie. Should you need some help in that, or you can ask questions tonight, or you can ask questions in the group, whatever is best for you. So, what we're going to cover tonight is the layers panel, and I call this the brain because everything that's in here is exactly what you're telling your Cricut to do. And where do we get this information? This information comes from the canvas over here. So what you do in the canvas reflects to the layers panel, which goes to the mats to your machine. So that's the easiest analogy I know to tell you guys. What you do in the mat, it's like writing on a chalkboard, and then the work is done over here and sent over for printing or whatever into the mat screens. So this is your brain of your Cricut, really. Here's your brain. Yep, we got spiders in the house. So in your layers panel, you'll see at the top here on this top bar, you have layers and you have color sync. Color sync is going to allow you to drag an entire set of images to another color and change them. Did everybody see that? I just dragging that bar into another color, and I can change all the colors of every piece that's that color. I'm just going to undo again. Or you can change just a single piece from that toolbar. And I'm just going to grab that one and slide it up, and you can change that single piece. So that's what your color sync does. That's all it does. It changes and helps you lay out your pieces without having to go up here and click one by one and change each one color by color. You don't have to do it that way. In the layers panel, you notice grayed out here we have group, ungroup, duplicate, and delete. Okay? Group is going to allow you, as a matter of fact, I have those attached. I have a couple of pieces here, and I have them grouped. These are to my 2 spider webs. And you see right now, everything is highlighted except group. If I ungroup it and I select the 2 pieces, group is available. Ungroup is not. So that's what's going to tell you if they're grouped or they're not. Why does that matter? So I'm going to select these 2 and I'm just going to align them and center them. If I wanted to, well, actually I'm going to separate them. If I wanted to make these bigger or smaller, and I make this one bigger, now this one no longer fits. So I can kind of stretch it and hope that I can get that to line back up, and it's not really there yet. Or I can group them. Let's go back and get my images. I should have duplicated it so I could have just deleted them. It doesn't like me. There we go. What I can do is keep them grouped, and then I can size them and they will size together. I did not stop my video. Can you guys not see? But that is exactly what group and ungroup does. It allows you to size your images and keep them to where they will line up and they will match up all at one time. So if I wanted to make this whole thing smaller, let me just select all so I don't mess up here and group. And I'm just going to hide that group. If I wanted to make them all smaller, I'm going to select everything in a group and size that whole group all at one time. Okay? That is what that is for. I'm going to undo that because I don't want to mess up my sizing. That's for the K-cup. So that's what your group does. And then it allows you to ungroup it so that you can play around and change images and things like that. If you don't like that spider web and you want to go get your own, then you would ungroup and do it that way. So that covers group and ungroup. Then we have duplicate. And duplicate is exactly what it says. If you've highlighted an image and you duplicate, then you've got another one. You can also right click and duplicate and do some of these things, guys. So whatever's easier for you. Everybody with me so far? And then delete is exactly what it says. Delete is going to delete whatever you have highlighted. Super simple. Okay, so let's take a look here in our layers panel. And you can see that it says cut, cut, cut. I don't have any. I have some scores. I have some cut lines. I do have some print and cuts. I have some cut and print. So, yay, thank you. So you will look in your layers panel when you're having a problem and say, okay, what's the problem? And what we do is say screenshot it and show it to us, because if we can look over here and say, okay, the reason that that's not cutting properly is because you have it flattened for a print and cut. So these will help you just by learning to read your layers panel will help you solve most of your design space issues that you're having. If it's supposed to be flattened for a print and cut and it's not doing it properly, because it's cutting your letters out, it's because it's not flattened into one single layer. Your flattens should be in one single layer. And what I mean by that, let's put something in there that has a bunch of holes in it. Okay, if you can see the grid behind your letters or your image, if you can, everywhere that you see grid, that means it's going to cut out. How do I flatten that to a square without it doing that? So if I have a square, let's just pretend that this is a 5x7 card. And I want to print Crafting with April on that. And if I attach it, you see what happens. It all turns the same color. Oh, I got part of my other image in there. Let's get rid of that. Or if I select attach, or if I weld it or slice it, it's all going to cut out just like that. But if I flatten this, and you see that I flattened it, I can still see grid back there. So I flatten that and then I attach it to that card. You see right here? I've got this little caution sign. It's not properly flattened. What's going to happen here? I have just told my Cricut, I want you to print and cut the Crafting with April, and I want you to cut the square. So it's going to print the April, Crafting with April, and then it's going to cut the square after it cuts each and every one of those letters out. And it's going to say it's too large, but that's what that is. You're going to get those errors when you've got your print and cut too large. So now I've got it within the constraints, but I still have 2 layers. Each eyeball here, or each command, flatten and the square, are 2 layers. Your print and cut needs to be 1 layer. So I need to detach that. So this is separate, because that's the way I had it in there. I had it separate. But if I select both of those and flatten them both together, now I have told my Cricut, you see I have 1 layer, and it has this Crafting with April on a square, and it's flattened together, 1 single layer. Okay? You want to make sure that your print and cuts are 1 single layer, or it's going to cut out your letters and then cut your shape. You notice you can't see the grid back behind that now. You want to click Make It to see. Let me change that white square and go back. Let me just go back and show Make It. As a matter of fact, let's get another design space window so it won't show all of that group. That is not what I want. I want new project. So let's just go in. And let's just make it the right size. Let's make it 9.25. And let's get a square. And I'll hit Make It so that you guys can actually see. With the white square, it's going to kind of vanish, but it's going to be there. So I'm going to make this yellow just so you guys can see it on screen. Let's arrange and send that to the back. Okay, so I've got my Crafting with April, and I can see the grid. I flatten it. It's over here. I bring it in and place it on my square, and I attach, and you can see that I have 2 layers. When I hit Make It, this is what happens. Looks perfect. It's going to print. Everything looks great. I'm going to send it to the printer. You want to leave your bleed on. And you see what happens here? See how it's white? And that's telling you right there. There's a hint. Your yellow disappeared. When it's white, you can't see it. That's a hint. Anywhere that your bleed is on and it looks blurry, that indicates a cut line. We can't see them as well as we used to on the old screen, but it's there. So that right there is an indicator that it's not correct. Okay? I'm not going to actually print that. Now let's go back and look when we do it right. So here we are, cancel. Here we are back on the screen. If I'm going to detach those, because attach was the wrong command, and I'm going to select the 2 and flatten them together. I love print and cut. Love it. It's a little misunderstood, but once you use it a few times and you get used to it, it is such a lifesaver. Now you can see I have one layers panel. One layer in the layers panel. That means I have flattened this properly. Okay? You have to leave one layer for these. When I hit make it now, notice my yellow didn't disappear. It's there. And I'm leaving my bleed on. And I'm going to show you guys what that bleed will do. Yeah, they turn it off thinking the bleed is going to show. That bleed is not going to show, and I'm going to show you guys that here in just a moment. As a matter of fact, I think I'll switch over to the other camera and show you guys. And all it's going to do is just blur the outside edge where it's going to cut, just so that you guys don't have a white edge. Now, if you want a white edge, or this is the only time that I turn off bleed. If I am printing on clear sticker paper, clear water slide, clear transparency, yes, I turn the bleed off, because you don't want to see the bleed on those clear ones. But everything else you want to leave it on. So if I send this over to the printer, you can see that it stayed. And the bleed, you can't really tell, but it will blur. And I think that's why they kind of made this smaller, is because it was confusing for people. And now you can't really see the bleed, but it is there. Let me swap over to the other camera and show you what I mean. Here is tonight's project that I cut. Okay? And you can see all these little outer edges. If I hadn't left my bleed on, I might have ended up with a white edge up here at this edge, and everything else would have been solid. So then I would have had to trim it, and then it wouldn't have fit. So that's what your bleed does. That bleed keeps you from having that white edge on your cardstock after it's cut. You have edge to edge color. So that's what bleed does. Didn't switch. How about now? There it goes. I think it's just lag, guys, because I'm getting a red light, and then it's green, and then it's red, and then it's green, and it's green right now. So let me show you. With that bleed, gives you edge to edge color, so that you don't have a white edge on there. This piece right here, you see how narrowly it missed right there? If I hadn't had the bleed on, then that probably wouldn't have made it without having a white edge on that end. And then when I would have had to trim the white edge off to make it look right, and then it would have been too short for my project. Let's see if I can find this one. Here's one. This one has a white background, but you can see that bleed helped give me that edge to edge on that little pattern I had. And the reason that one's white is because it has a white background. But yeah, it is some long lag. It is. I really hate to go out and come back in. Let me see if I can boost it here. It's getting better at shortening the time. It's saying it's a 7.3 second lag, but it was 10, so we're getting better. So that's what your bleed does. So let's go back over, and I'm going to make sure that it changes this time. You're welcome, Denora. Did it change over for you guys? Hopefully. If not, you pop up in chat and let me know. So once you hit, there it goes. Yay. So the bleed is going to help you get that edge to edge color, and that's what it does. So now we've covered the print and cut. See if I can get back over here. Next in the layers panel, let me just grab some images, guys. I'm just going to grab a few that we can work with. We've got some images in here that can help us with our layers panel. Next you have your slice feature and your weld, your attach, your flatten, and you notice contour down here is gray. Okay? Contour is only going to appear if you have something that you can contour. Now if you notice when I select this flattened image, contour does not become available. The only thing I can do is unflatten it. And because there's nothing there to contour. If I contour out the square, then I'm just basically deleting it, because it's going to eliminate cut lines, and the only cut line on this is a square, because the center isn't going to cut. It's only going to cut that rectangle. So that's why I don't have contour. So if you have an image and it's a solid image, you're not going to have contour. I had somebody ask me about that, saying it's not available. And it's not going to be available on a square, a circle, a heart, anything that's solid. But you can see this heart is not solid, and contour is available. What does contour do? Contour is going to allow you to remove inside or outside cut lines. So let's say that I wanted it to be solid. I'm going to hide all contours, and then I'm going to get that solid image. Okay, and I'm just going to duplicate that, and I'm going to come back to contour, and I'm going to hide all contours. I'm sorry, show all contours. So there it is, show all contours. But if I click on this outside piece, now I have the inside piece. So if I wanted to cut that in a different color to insert, I could do that just by hiding the outside cut line. So you have an inside cut line and an outside cut line. And so now I could make this a totally different color, and then I could inlay that into that heart. So contour is a super, super cool feature, guys. It is super cool. You just have to learn to use it. I have a video on contour where I did a Winnie the Pooh coloring book page so that we could come in here and color and get colors. If you want to have 2 or 3 colors, like with this one, you can duplicate this, come back in here and contour out some of these. I'm just going to do a few here, and then come over here and hide the others on this side, whichever ones that you wanted. And now, as long as you don't have 2 of them, we're just going to pretend I got all the extras, which I didn't. We could come in here and make another one, another color, and then you've got different colors that you can inlay in there. So you can make that heart look like stained glass just by going in and changing those with your contour and inlaying different colors. How cool is that? Super simple, super easy. You don't have to do all that slicing and dicing and seeing if you can make a circle fit in there just to slice that one little triangle out of there. It's super easy just to use your contour to do it. And that's what contour does. Attaching. If I were to attach these 2 images, 2 different colors, they're going to change to the same color because I have essentially attached them, basically stapled them together so that they would go to the mat together in the same position without moving. That's basically what I've done for that. So that's what attach does. Attach is like a staple. It's going to staple your papers together. It's going to send them to the same mat together so that they're buddies until they're ready not to be buddies anymore. Then we can separate them. Just take out that with a staple remover and undo them. Okay? That's what they do. Now if I take that same image, just going to line it up there, and I put them together and I weld it, again it's going to become one color, and it's going to go to the mat together the same way, but it's permanent. It's not going to come apart. I welded it. I glued those together and they're not coming apart ever. I can undo until I can even save this right now and still come back and undo. But once I close out of this project and come back in, it's a done deal. It's not coming apart again, ever. You just have to start over at that point. So weld is like glue and attach is like a staple or a paper clip, whatever you prefer to look, however you prefer to look at those. So you've got your flatten, which is print and cut. That's all it does. Changes it to a print and cut. You've got your attach, which is your staple or your paper clip, which is undoable. You have your weld, which is permanent. Then you have your slice. And what does slicing do? Slicing is going to enable you to slice one image from another. You can only slice 2 layers at a time. Only 2 layers at a time. So if I wanted to do a mama cat and a baby cat out of the circle, slice is not available, because if you look at the layers panel, what's gray? My circle is gray, that's 1. The cat with stripes is grayed out, it's 2. The other cat with stripes is grayed out, that's 3. That is 3 layers. 3 cannot work. You can only slice 2 layers at a time. So if I wanted to slice these 2 from this circle, I could do it one at a time as long as I don't move that circle. Or I can use my weld tool and select my 2 cats and weld them. And then when I select, I only have 2 layers grayed out. So now my slice is available because I took the 2 cats and made them one image. Up here you see my weld result, and now I can slice that, and slice is going to enable me to take that out. What if I wanted just the mama cat for an overlay or something and I welded those 2 together? Now what? And I've opened up my project and I can't undo the weld, because at this point I can hit undo and redo it all. Contour. Come back over here. Let's make this smaller, and we're going to contour out all the little baby kitty pieces. And now he's gone. So don't be scared to use your weld, and don't be scared to use your contour tools. You can work around them. Even if you've welded, you can come back and you can change it. Another thing that a lot of people don't understand about weld is, especially with their text, when you have text and it's in a cursive font, it should, let's see if I can find, I know, let me just go to Magnolia. That's just the easy one to remember. Magnolia Sky. And I put it all in caps. Okay, these are supposed to touch. So we learned last week our letter space and things like that. And if you look in the layers panel, I need to make those touch. I'm going to ungroup to letters. Just going to kind of skew those. And then I'm going to, right now you can look over here and it says text Magnolia Sky. But if I weld it, it changes to a weld result. I've exited, I've come back, I need to know what that font is because I need to add something to it, or I need to change what it says. How do I find that? If you right click on it and come to your image info, it's grayed out, but you can see it says Magnolia Sky. It works with your uploaded fonts, your Cricut fonts, welded, attached, all of that. It will work. It will show. The only time that it will not work, I believe, if you weld two different fonts together. So if I go in and I add, let's see, text test. Let's make that one Two Hearts Delight. There we go. And I weld those two together. Now I come in here and I right click and image info. Nope, they fixed it. It says Magnolia Sky and Two Piece Delight. Shows me two fonts. They're gray, but they are there. It shows both of them. So the only time it's not going to show you what that font is, okay, you see right here, I'm a fighter. I'm going to right click on that and it tells you I'm a fighter. That tells me this is an image, not a font. It doesn't work on files saved a long time ago. Okay. That might be what some of the people are saying. If you've got a really, really old file, it may not show because they just fixed that where it showed the text, what the name of the text was up in text. Before, it just used to say text. It didn't say anything else. But this is showing me that this is an image, but it tells you what that image number is. And guys, we're going to share this with you, you have to include the hashtag number when you search for these. Without the hashtag, it won't find them unless they've corrected that. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong. But you have to have the hashtag in front of the serial number for the image. The image number. So now you've learned your layers, your color sync, your group, ungroup, duplicate, delete, your contour, your flatten, your weld, your slice, all of those things. You've learned all of those. The only thing that we haven't covered in the layers panel is blank canvas. And you can come down here to blank canvas, and when you click on this eye, it won't do anything. But if you look at the top right here, where it says color, you can change the color of your canvas so that you can see some of the stuff you're working with a little bit better. If you wanted to make it gray, whatever color you want to choose, you pick any color under the sun in here and you can make your canvas that color. Yes. Let me go. If we wanted to, right here, if you right click and you want to view the cartridge, it will show you the cartridge that that image came off of and everything else in that cartridge, so that you can select. No, it's not going to tell you the font because these aren't fonts. These are images. These were uploaded as an image and not as a font. And you can get close in the font by typing in this word survivor in the preview tool and then finding something that closely matches, because it's easier to match the word that you're looking for than it is to match different words. So if you were looking for this inspire, survive, believe, you could type them in lowercase just like they are, and it would be easier to find. Okay, so now we have covered all that. The only thing we haven't covered is the matte screen. So let's go over to Make It, and we're going to play around. We've got some print and cut over here. And print and cut is just what you see right here on the mat, and it's going to be a material size of 8.5 by 11. That is the default. It cannot be changed, and it cannot be changed because the maximum print and cut area is 6.75 by 9.25. Anything over that, you're going to see that little triangle over in your layers panel, and it's going to tell you your image is too big. And you'll probably, if you go and try to Hit make it anyway, give you the orange bar at the top saying your image is too large. You can mirror, and you would only mirror if you were printing on a printable iron-on that required mirroring. Otherwise, you're just going to print and cut normally. Okay? And then, I have some weird stuff going on in my design space, guys. I don't know. You saw it was way over here off the mat. Next, you have your second mat. So it's going to divide everything up into colors so that you can cut them according to the color you made them and know what material comes next. What if you made a mistake? What if you wanted this guy green? If you click on an image in this matte screen, this is the first matte screen, guys, you can click the three dots and you can move it to another matte. Now I can put him on the blue mat, the red mat, this other black mat, or a totally new mat. So I can change him and put him over on the green mat if I want to. You can turn him to maximize paper if you have a small piece of paper or vinyl so that it works for you. Okay? And then you'll see that I gained my 7th mat down here. So lots of little neat tricks. What if I said, oops, I don't want to cut him? I can hide the selected. And then when I go to cut, this mat, because it has nothing on it, will disappear. Okay? So if you've got pieces in there that you decided, ooh, I really didn't want to cut that, you can hide it. You don't have to go back and hide it over in the other thing. You can just get rid of it right there. You can change it and say, oops, I want to print that out of green or yellow, and you can move it to a new mat and change that color. Ah, Susan, did you learn something new? Yay! So super great tools over here, guys. You just have to go through and look. Make sure that you're changing your, doing your mirror for iron-on, and you're changing your material size. If you're cutting on 8.5 by 11, you'll want to change it. If you have more than one mat of the same color and you change it to 8.5 by 11, it will change all of your mats of that color. Okay? Let me just show you guys that. Let me move this to another mat. I thought that black was the same color, but it wasn't. Let's make this black. So I've moved this to another mat, and now I have that mat, and then this one is black as well. Nope. Well, it does work. Let me try it with this one. Let me move this to another mat. I don't know if I can get that same color. That's okay. I'll go back and do it the other way. Let me just cancel it and go back, because I want you guys to see that. We'll go to color sync. We'll make all of our black stuff black. There we go. So I'm over here and I move this to another mat and we make it black. And now I tell it that I have 8.5 by 11 paper. It should change both of my black ones, and you see it did, to 8.5 by 11 paper. So anything that's the same color, when you change the material for one of the same color, it's going to change both of them. Okay? So if you have black vinyl and you have a 12 by 12 piece, and then you have an 8.5 inch piece of iron-on, and you're doing two different ones, you'll want to make sure that your placement of your images are where you want them to be. But this is where you do all of that. And at the top of this matte screen right here, if you are going to cut 50 of these hearts or 10 of these hearts, don't duplicate them in your canvas. It will cause your design space to bog down. When you got to open up that project again and you've got everything duplicated, it's going to say, you know, this is a large project. Sometimes it won't load right. Sometimes it'll freeze during cutting, things like that. Change your copies here and hit apply. And when you hit apply, it's going to put them on the number of mats that it will handle. And it's just going to change all of that for you. And then if you need to change your paper to 8.5 by 11. It's going to do all the mats for you. It's going to do the math. You don't have to even think about it. Okay? You can change the size on everything except print and cut. And, well, there might be a couple of others, but I don't think so. I think you can even change the size on all of them except print and cut. 11 by 11 is going to be your balsa wood, your basswood, your chipboards. Oh, thanks, Denora. So once you've done all of that, the only other thing left to do, and it's going to tell you up here how many mats your project is. Okay? It'll tell you how many mats your project has turned into after you've done your applied your copies. And then you can hit continue. And it's going to find your machine. And we're going to go over that too. Mine says maker up here. If you have, guys, if you have an Air 2 or an air machine, you can put your dial on custom and choose all your materials right here. Just leave your dial on custom. There's really no need to change it, and you can pick all of your materials right here. Just by browse all materials. Now I have my favorites in here that I cut a lot of. And then you've got your most popular over here. These are the popular materials from Cricut. They set these. And then you have favorites that you can set. And you can set those by going into Browse All Materials. If you cut a lot of art illustration board, you just want to mark this star. It's not going to let me. You can see you can only have up to 12 materials. And that means I have to take something off before I can add that. Everything with a Cricut emblem means it's a Cricut material. Okay, so you can save your favorites up to 12. Pick the 12 that you cut most. And what I like to tell everyone, don't pick these. They're already there for you. Pick 12 more. That gives you 24 materials. Yeah, it keeps you from forgetting to change the dial, Jamie. Exactly. So if you've got that Air or that Air 2 or Explorer, put that dial on custom, leave it there, forget about it, and get used to using this screen because it's going to ask you to set your material every single time. And that's going to save you a lot of headaches. Because I still do it on if I take my Air 2 off of that custom, I will cut water color paper on vinyl and it doesn't work. So that will give you 24 favorite materials that you can pop back and forth to, and then you can come in to browse all your materials and you can come in here and look for whatever it is that you're looking to cut. If you want to cut calico print, and then you can say done, and you can do that from here. It was going to tell you at that point what materials to load and what mats. So it's telling me here if I'm going to cut this mat out of that calico print, I need my rotary blade. I'm going to put that on a pink mat. Your rotary blade should never be used on anything but a pink mat. It's made of a denser material. Don't want to damage your blade, and you don't want it to cut through your mats. And then you're going to press your load button. Make sure that your material is on your mat and your mat is flush up against the roller in the guides before you press that button. If you press that button and then stick that mat in there, your cut is going to be off. It's going to cut up above your mat. Okay? And then, of course, you're going to press your go button, which is your flashing C. So let me cancel that. Is everybody with me so far? Everybody understand the mats and the layers panel? Go home. Over here, when you come in your home screen, depending on which machine you're using, you're going to use this drop down. This is new. And you're going to select either your Maker or your Explorer family machine. Okay? And that's going to help. It's going to eliminate line types and things like that. Because with the Cricut Maker, you have in the line types, let me just put in an image. You have cut, draw, score, engrave, deboss, wave, and perforation. If you don't have a maker, you don't need all of that. And so if you select your Explore machine, then you put in your shape and you come over here to line type, you notice that those are gone. Thank you, Susan. So make sure that you go in and you play with your design space. Don't be afraid to click on a button, see what it will do. Don't be scared. Just click it, see what it will do. You can always hit that undo button. Go in with a new project with the intention of not keeping it and see what you can do, see what you can find. There's tons of little tips and tricks in there that you're going to forget about that'll come back to you when you're in there playing. Okay? So let's get over and start making the project. Let me get over here. Our seconds have gone down to 5, so let's make sure everybody gets in screen view here. Again, your print and cut, you want to make sure, I forgot to tell you guys, however this is printing on your screen, your print and cut, that's the way it needs to go on your mat. So if it prints just like this is the top, this is the bottom, you cannot put it on your mat this way. It's not going to read it. You're going to have a problem. You can't put it on this way, and you can't put it. It has to be put on in the direction that it's showing you on screen. Okay? Just another little tip there. So, I've got things all in my way over here. This, just a reminder, the group party is the party that I have going on now. It's going to end on the 30th. We're going to go live at 6 p.m. and it's craftingwithapril.ctmh.com. The Seaside Kit with stamps. Guys, you're going to get your stamps, your twine, your sequins or your embellishments, your envelopes. Everything is going to come in there. And then this is the one that's just the paper without the stamps. So we're going to have some fun doing those. You guys get your kits and join us, make something live, or you can get your kit and make it later. We are making tonight, I am not going to do the little one, guys. It goes together exactly the same way. This is the K-cup. So if you just have a K-cup and you don't want to do the mini cups, you can wrap the K-cup and put it together. It goes together exactly the same way. I put the Truvia, which is the coffee with screaming sugar on it for the Halloween theme. And then you can put them inside your little cup here too. I forgot to bring a cup in here with me, but you guys basically know this wrap is free for everybody. And I use print and cut. I used a pattern. I used pattern fill. This is from Design Bundles. And you're just going to wrap it and glue it onto your cup or onto your K-cup. That's it. If you need to trim the bottom a little, trim the bottom. I did have to make it a little longer on the K-cup because at the exact size that it was, it wouldn't meet and had an open seam down the back. So you may have to trim a little off the bottom on that one. Then you're going to have all of your little decorative pieces. And this little disc goes into the top of the cup. That's what that does. So those two pieces are done. This is the main body of your little KEURIG maker. You're going to fold all of your tabs away from you. And this file is available for our supporters. If you're on Ko-fi, you'll find it in the post. And if you're on Patreon or Ko-fi monthly, you will find it on the craftingwithapril.co exclusive tab. So you're just going to fold it just like that and set it to the side. Then you have your main piece here. You're going to fold back on that score line, fold back on this score line, creating that little box here on this end. And guys, this is created if you don't want to support on Ko-fi to get this file. This file I revamped from the Valentine's mailbox. So you can make this file yourself by using the mailbox if you want to, but it did take me 2 days to get it right. So the file can be found on craftingwithapril.co or on Ko-fi.com if you're a one-time supporter. This is a supporter only file. The wraps are free on the public SVG tab. They're free for everybody. The cup wraps, which are good if you just want to do those for a giveaway, or do those for pumpkin spice during the fall, or hot chocolate during Christmas to friends and neighbors. You can do those for those that have the KEURIGs. You're just going to fold all of the tabs. Try to stay in the curve. Trying to fold on a curve is not the easiest sometimes. Once you have all of those, you have 2 scores down the side of this piece. And I am using the Cricut purple, drawn a blank. What's the exact name? Jamie, do you remember? I just call it Cricut purple. I don't know. Folding on both of those scores. There it is. The K-cups, this is just a regular coffee K-cup. And I used removable adhesive so that that's not going into their KEURIG. And I used removable adhesive to wrap it. These are the 4-ounce minis with the lid. And you can get those on Amazon. I have a link below to Amazon, but they're called 4-ounce 4-ounce mini cups with lids. So once you have it all folded, you got everything scored, now comes the fun. I'm going to just put some glue through here and fold that piece over, and then we're going to glue this whole tab. I just put a little bit under it so that it's easier to get it to press, and I've lost, there it is. And I'm just using my bone folder. I'm going to distribute that glue out a little bit. Same thing on the other side. A little inside, and then a little. Through here, fold it over. And that's just going to give your little pot some strength, guys. It's going to need, you don't want it to be crushable. It's going to make it sturdy. So once you have that done, then you want to take this, and with your fingers, you're just going to hold it and kind of roll it and get it to curling a little bit for you. If you want to wrap it around a jar or a cup or something like that and pull it that way, you can do it that way too. But you're just going to get some curve going on it. Like so. So it looks kind of like that. And I found working with 2 to 3 tabs at a time on each side was easiest. But you can work this however works best for you. And then I'm just going to line that up right here on the end, keeping it even and flush. And I'm just going to hold those 3 little tabs that I glued until they're grabbing. You can lay it flat and press down on them too. Just want to keep it flush. And then work the other side once it's grabbed. Give it a second to dry. And you may, a couple of these I forgot to trim. If you have any of those sticking up, and I think it's like number 3 and number 4, I mean, it's just like a smidge. It's not, I mean, you see how little that's cut off right there. Just teeny tiny frog's hair. Can just snip that off, because that was the end that I modified. And on the first one, it was perfectly fine. And on the second one that I did, I had a little piece sticking up there. So just, again, just keep working it around. A couple tabs at a time, get it to hold. The patterns that I got was a Halloween package at Design Bundles. I don't know if it'll let me put that in there. Let me see. Can try that. It might show up on my end and not show up on yours. But it came from Design Bundles. I think it was $3 and you had like 12 different papers in it. So it was really, really cost effective. If you like Halloween and you do a lot of Halloween stuff. Had some black and orange stars on a white background. Had some stripes. Had the spider webs on the orange, and then it had the orange and white witches on the black. Several different ones, but they had several packs too now, not just that one. Thank you, Jamie. They had several Halloween packs. They had some spookier ones and some cute ones. So I didn't see any more than $4, and they all had several papers in them. And I'm just going to go ahead and put some glue on this bottom tab and on this long tab. I'm just going to keep working. And I did not design this part of this. Like I said, it was in Design Space, and it was a Design Space file. And personally, I'm finding an error in it even before I modified it. And you can see what that error is right there. No matter how I've done it, one side over here is longer than the rest. One side meets up perfect, and the other side does not. Not my fault. I couldn't fix it. I tried, but the more I tried to fix it, the worse it got. So I left it. I'm going to press that long tab in from inside here. And then I just trimmed mine off with my scissors. It isn't that much. It's just like one corner halfway down. It just sticks out. It's not level, but I didn't want it to cause the window over here to be off. So when I tried to fix it, that's what it caused, and I didn't like it. So I just left it. Then I'm just going to put a little bit of glue on this back piece and on some of my tabs. Some all however you want to do it. Be careful getting excess glue on this purple like I did in the back there, because it does show on the purple for some reason. This is the only cardstock I found that it actually art glitter glue shows up on, and it doesn't go away. You're just going to tuck those down in there. Don't squeeze the box. Just set it down in at the back and give it a little push, and then work the front. If you squeeze it, it'll pop out because it sits in there so flush. And just give it time to dry. I let it kind of sit, and then I add some extra glue to the front ones. So once you've got it in there, just let it sit. Pull that one out. There we go. Just like so. Then this square piece goes into the back. And you can eliminate this piece if you don't want it. I just thought it was cute to add some interest back there. And so the bat would show. Just going to put him right back in there. And then while that's drying, if I don't push it out of there while it's trying to dry, I'm going to put my little cauldron on. And I did curl it the same way I did my paper, just to give it some help. And you don't want to glue the whole thing. I just made that pop out of there. I knew I did. I don't have much glue on mine, just for time purposes. Rushing. You guys take your time. It does fit in there, and it will stay. I think I just missed some glue on it, because it will pop out of there if you squeeze it like I just did until it dries. So now we've got our cauldron on there. We have some bubbles, and I just kind of did a couple of dots to have two of them hang off the side. And I have a third dot MIA. Here it is. Oops, that's a different color. That's okay. That's what I did. I cut some different color ones, and then we have our witch's hat. Gonna figure out where I want it. Just gonna put a little bit of glue on there. And I just did what I didn't want to do. I don't want any extra glue on there. Then you have your orange strip for the hat. And this was, the orange that I used on this, guys, was Basil Circus Peanuts, because the Cricut was just too dark for my print and cut. I had it out, but it was just too dark. Now it's about time that you dry it in there really good. Okay. And then on the top, put my layered spider web. You could do this in black paper or gray paper and add the buttons and everything, and it would be really cute to look like an actual KEURIG machine. I'm just kind of dotting a little bit of glue on this top spider web. I could not get my cricut paper to cut this fine, and it's not because of the cricut paper, it's because of the humidity. So I had to go and get some paper studio paper. So that's why my green is off from the cricut green, because it was just chewing it up, just even with a new blade. And I know it was because it was so fine and the humidity here. So I just used some Hobby Lobby paper and it cut fine. The one I did on these, I ended up last night so I could take my photos. As you can see, that's how it chewed up my cricut cardstock. And it cut perfectly fine out of the paper studio. So if you're having issues cutting the very fine thin stuff, either do like I did and cut it from vinyl last night, or cut it from a different brand of paper. Sometimes just a brand of paper will make a difference depending on your humidity in your area. And then we have our spider web. And just work it around where you want it to live. I missed a whole tab or something in there. Or it's just not grabbing. There it is. And just on a couple of legs there to hold it down. And then our room, and we're done. And just right on the tips was all I did. I'm just going to hold that a moment, and then you can slip your cup right inside, and it's done. There it goes. How cute is that, guys? And that's the glue spot. Get on there. There you go. Super cute. Change out the images. Use it for any holidays. And it will stay in there once I get that. I've got to glue mine back in there. This one's in there. You can see. I just didn't get that one in there good. I got to add some glue. Super, super simple, easy project. Thank you, guys. And it does say coffee with screaming sugar. And then I have the glow-in-the-dark Nuvo that I just kind of added a couple onto the... here's the one, onto the broom here, and then you can put it on the dots, just so you have some glow in the dark that looks like buttons, like the coffee pots lit up at night when they see it. So that's a really cute idea you can do too. Okay, does anybody have any other questions? I know that these three series of Design Space videos have run long. We try to keep them under an hour, but when we're learning Design Space, sometimes it runs over, and I'm glad that you guys have bared with me through that. Thank you so much. And next week we're back on schedule where we're going to be doing projects, and you can ask your Design Space questions and we'll answer them, but the video shouldn't be more than an hour long, 30 minutes to an hour, depending on what our project is. So, and you can stick candies, whatever you want in these cups, guys. You don't have to stick the K-cups in there. You can put candies. It will hold 2 of the Ferrero Rocher candies, several little penny candies, so you can put lots of stuff in there. Yes, you can put the apple cider in there for fall. You can do them out of fall papers with leaves down the side of them. Would be really cute, you know, and make it out of the red paper instead of purple, like that red KEURIG. That would be really cute. Okay, guys, if everybody is good, nobody has any questions or any project issues, we'll go ahead and wrap up. If you need anything, you need us to review anything, let us know. Ask in the groups. Where do you get the kit for the class? Let me take you over there and show you. You're going to go to Crafting or Close to My Heart, Crafting with April, closetomyheart.com. You can use this link. You can type it in. Hopefully it will let me put that in there. Crafting with April Close to My Heart, and you can abbreviate Close to My Heart to ctmh.com and it will work. Or you can go over to my website, craftingwithapril.co, on the free public SVG tab, and it's there as well. Or you can look it up by my name on Close to My Heart, April Culbreth, right here. And I am in Hampton. So several ways to look me up on Close to My Heart. And we will get together. We're going to do something really cute on Friday the 30th using that kit. And we're going to start doing some Close to My Heart tutorials on Fridays. So that'll make us live 2 times a week. That is why I'm adding some moderators and getting you guys some help in the groups, so that it allows me some design time and time to do more lives. Have a good night, Catherine. Thank you all. I greatly appreciate you. Thank you, Ko-fi and Patreon supporters. Thank you very, very much, moderators. You guys are awesome. I appreciate each and every one of you. And I will see you on Saturday. No, Friday. Yes, on Friday. I will see you guys on Friday and on Saturday. You guys have a wonderful night. Thank you so much for joining me. Don't forget to subscribe.